Hey guys, Ron here. Matt's getting ready to go here in just a little bit, so we'll get started in a few. We're going to give everybody a chance just to get logged in and signed up. Sometimes if they wait till the last minute, it takes them a bit to get in. Hey guys, Ron here. Hey, Matt is a fellow veteran and a friend of mine, asked me to help out on his webinar tonight. You've had such great response in the last few weeks. It's just hard to manage questions and so forth. So he's getting ready to go. But before he does, I just want to introduce you to Matt. He is a Chief Warrant Officer in the Army, and he has been a Chinook pilot in Iraq and Afghanistan for the last 8 years, and he's flown missions in both of those countries several times over. He's an active member in the Army National Guard. He's been flying since 2002. He loves to fly, he loves to train, and this is what his passion is. So he's going to get ready, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
Hey, Ron, can you hear me?
I can.
Great. We are getting ready to go here. I'm kind of catching up with the tech side of this whole thing, so this is a great experience to be here. Thank you very much, guys, for coming to the webinar tonight. I do apologize. I'm a little bit under the weather last week, so if I sneeze or sniffle, please don't hold that against me. That was a great quick intro that you gave me, Ron. Thank you very much for stopping in tonight and doing an awesome intro. It sounds like you guys already got the majority of all this stuff here, so you can't see my screen, correct, Ron?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And I'll pop in and out here as questions come up and so forth.
Sounds good, Ron. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to butt in if there's something that I'm trying to explain or talk about that you guys that you don't understand, because if you don't understand it, it's possible that some of the folks online tonight may not understand it as well. And we'll cover that as we move forward here. So tonight, guys, we're going to talk about how to become a private pilot. Okay, so we're going to talk about what you guys are going to need to get started. There's a lot of things and a lot going on there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of private pilot aviation. Just becoming a pilot altogether. I'm going to lay it out for you like blueprint style, so that you guys can see exactly what it is that you have to do to go from where you are now to becoming a pilot in the future. So we're going to talk about how you can get started, what those next steps are going to be. You guys will know enough that you guys can pull the trigger and get started tonight, even if you wanted. You'll know exactly how much to expect your flight training to cost. You can get started for less than $1,000. You can get started and know whether you're even going to be interested in flight training at all. So we definitely don't want you to spend thousands and thousands of dollars if it's not even something that you guys are going to be interested in. So where to get your training and what to expect, who your CFIs, who your instructors are going to be, and where to find them, where to get your training at. Also, we're going to answer this question that comes up quite a bit for me, and that is, can you learn to fly online? So, and Ron, just so you know, I may not be able to hear you. So if you do have questions or bring something up. We're going to talk about how to become a private.
Got it, man. No problem.
I can hear you through the door. That might be good enough. So just talk loudly. So here's first things first. Let's get some house rules off the list here. there's a chat box just below this video. If you guys are in the group tonight, watching, listening, thank you. There's a chat box. Make sure you register your name. If you guys want to know something, please feel free to bring it up and ask. Hopefully Ron or I will be able to get to those questions, and we'll get that taken care of. Like I said, we're muscling through the tech issues for the night. So this is probably going to be a fairly small group, so feel free to be social with us, ask questions as we go forward. I'll open up the floor so that you guys have the ability to ask those questions as well. All right, so you guys are in the right place. Apparently, I didn't get those set up to come in one bullet at a time, but you guys are in the right place. Basically, if you guys are dreamers, if you guys are just looking at what it's going to take to become a pilot, then you guys are in the right place. Okay. If you want your certificate, you want to become a better pilot. A lot of people that I work with they've already started going down that road to becoming a pilot, and they just need a little bit of clarification. I know when I started my training, started going through flight training, I did not get very good clarification up front as to what I was supposed to be doing. So I think I made it about 15 hours in, and probably about 2,000 hours or $2,000 worth of flight time into my flight training before I realized, hey, I should probably ask my instructor what the agenda looks like. What is this going to look like? Because they could just be taking you down the pea patch for as much money as they can. We don't want that to happen to you, so we're going to clear this up right now and save you $2,000 worth of training. So let's go. You guys are also in the right place. If this process doesn't make sense, if you guys have been thinking about this and you just need somebody to clarify the process, hopefully that can be me. You think that time might be an issue, you're in the right place. If you think that money is an issue, I'm going to show you that it shouldn't be, that you guys should be able to get into this and get started pretty quickly or fairly inexpensively. All right. There's a few people that might be in the wrong place. If you guys are seasoned pilots already, if you guys are airline pilots or you just have thousands of hours worth of flight time, you guys probably don't need to be here. We're probably not going to cover that level of training. We're specifically working with you guys that are working on dreaming and figuring out how to get into this. If you're already started some training, we're going to cover that. If you guys don't want to learn anything new, probably in the wrong place. Also, if you guys get on webinars or done some training stuff in the past in this digital world, if you don't like it when somebody gives you guys 30, 45 minutes worth of good training material, and if you guys don't like when somebody gives you like a lot of good, awesome stuff, actionable content, and then just offers you some additional training afterwards and asks for a little bit of money, then you're probably in the wrong place. I'm going to show you guys some awesome stuff tonight, and then I'm going to show you how you guys can take the next step. I'm going to give you guys a good deal on it. So stick around also to the end of the webinar. I've got something that you guys are going to like. So could be a good surprise. We also got some good giveaways while we're going through this process as well. So you guys will enjoy this. Hold on one second. Okay, what we're looking for tonight, after you guys are done, you guys will know exactly what it's going to take to get your certificate. You guys are going to know exactly what those steps are going to be. You guys should be able to move forward without a problem. I'm going to give you guys that roadmap that you've been looking for. Shouldn't be too hard. And after you guys get all that information, you guys should be able to get out there and get your license pretty quickly. So I'm going to do something real cool for you guys. I've got a program. It's called ForeFlight Mobile Mastery Class, and it teaches you guys how to use ForeFlight Mobile. It's an online. You can use your iPad or an Android tablet to get some flight. Do your flight planning, and I want to give you guys a copy for free. I can only give you 2 people are going to get a free copy tonight. So if you guys use the chat box below, hopefully you've already registered, and type in your name. The first 2 people to send me their name are going to get a free copy. I'll send you a coupon code to pick that up after the webinar is finished tonight. So go ahead and do that right now. And tell me who you got. Hopefully this works. I'm just making this stuff up on the go. Hang on. You got a couple takers? You got a couple takers? Couple takers on the.
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
Anybody throwing their name in?
Yeah, I got people in there.
Well, I just sent out the. You got a couple? Yeah. All right, sweet.
Hey, Robin, I got you. We got you covered there. You're first, Mike. You're number 2, Mike Robinson. Good to go.
Okay.
I'll log those down, and Matt will be sending that info shortly.
All right, we're going to send those to you after the class today. So thank you guys for participating, and we're going to talk a little bit about what path you guys are going to take when you guys start your flight training. When you guys get out there and start making this happen, you guys are going to have to make a decision, and that is which way you're going to go, what type of flight training you're going to get. There's Part 61, there's Part 141, and I know that means nothing to you, so I'm going to explain that. Part 61 means you're going down to the airport and you're going to the FBO, which is a fixed base operator. That's where they do a lot of times general aviation guys are going to get gas, they're going to get flight training, they're going to have simulators. They fill you up with the aviation supplies and all that good stuff. And people are sometimes really nice and they have coffee for you. So the Part 141 route is the school's route, which means going back to college. Now, I know a lot of you guys you probably don't want to go back to college. So what we're going to do tonight is talk about the FBO method. It's a little bit less rigid, so it's not as big of a deal. And we're going to cover down on that. The back to college route is a much more rigid, much more strict system, and it normally could take a little bit longer, although the requirements are actually less. But we're going to talk about FBO style. All right, the foreign aim. You guys, some of you may have heard of this. If you guys have one, break one out. You're going to hear a lot about this. This comes from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Regulations. So they're broken down into many different parts. I'm going to tell you what the basic ones are right now. You're going to hear, some of these different parts have definitions, abbreviations, training and certification, medical requirements, general operating rules, and different schools. Everything is broken down by some kind of a requirement, even accident reporting. So if you're out there flying to get into an accident, the foreign aim tells you what to do. Okay? So let's talk quickly what the process. This is the big picture, guys. We're talking big picture. What are you going to do? We're going to talk big picture. What you're going to do if you start your training. You're going to go through. Let me go back up. Private pilot is going to be the first thing on your list. You're going to become a student pilot. You're going to get your medical certificate, and you're going to go out and learn to fly. And then you get your private pilot certificate. That is what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you decide to go on, if you decide to move forward with your flight training, if you want to go work for the airlines, if you want to go do something else, you want to get hired on somewhere to fly whatever it is that you want to fly, then you've got to go a couple extra steps. We're going to talk about those real quick because we're not covering this tonight. I just want to breeze through it, but I want you guys to have the big picture. You're going to fly instruments. Then a lot of people that finish that move on to commercial. They move on to multi-engine after that. CFI, which is flight instructor. You got the second level of a flight instructor, and then ATP, which is your airline transport pilot. These are the guys that go on to fly with the airlines. They go on to fly private jets or business jets. Okay. So like I said, tonight we're going to be talking about private pilot. We're going to break this down into. We're going to get detailed. We're not going to get horribly detailed so much that you guys just fall over asleep, hopefully, because I don't want you guys to sleep on me. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. We're going to talk about this in the future. We talked about having some pictures and stuff, but we're going to talk about the aircraft that you're going to fly. And I'm going to make this I'm going to put this out there right up front. When you start your flying, you're going to fly a Cessna 152 or 172, most likely, unless you have a lot of money. Maybe you go find a Cirrus aircraft or something. But most people are going to start out in a 152 or 172. When you're going through your private pilot training, pick one of these aircraft, and you don't have to fly anything else. Okay? But a big picture, I'm going to show you what exactly you have as options as you go through. You could fly a Piper Warrior. You could fly a Piper Cherokee, the Diamond DA-40, the 42. You could fly those in your private pilot training. So if you want to know more about those, I encourage you to get on Google and just go check those out. There's a lot of good stuff out there. As you're progressing through instruments and commercial, you could pick up a 172 or 182 RG, which is retractable gear. It's a complex aircraft, high performance. You go to the multi-engine, you get your Beechcraft Duchess. These are more and more complex as you go through these different types of aircraft. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because I want you to know that as you progress through your training, if you decide to do so, that it's a great opportunity for you to get more experience in different aircraft. That way you're not flying the same thing the entire time. But like I said, as a private pilot, all you have to do is find a Cessna, a 152 or 172. With a 152, you can manhandle the thing all day long. 172, you can put 4 people in, take a little bit more of a payload. It's a little bit more stable of an aircraft, and it costs a little bit more. But if you're on a budget, shoestring budget, shoot for a Cessna 150, 152. You guys shouldn't have a problem with that. All right, so we're going to do this again. Anybody else want a copy of the ForeFlight Mobile class? We're going to take the next 2 people that put their names in right now into the chat box. Like I said, afterwards we're going to get those coupon codes out to you. We have your email addresses already, so you don't have to put your emails through or anything. We're going to get those sent out to you after the class. Since I don't have the chat box in front of me, Ron does. Hopefully he sees those coming up and can tell you about that.
I got you covered, Matt. No problem. We got a couple coming in on the Google Hangout, so I'm going to get them. Yeah, I got you covered, Matt. We got a couple coming in on the other chat box in the Google Hangout.
All right, so we got a couple guys. We're gonna get those. We're gonna set you guys up right after this. Make sure you guys get a copy of those. Thank you for being interactive, being social with us. Okay, requirements to be a private pilot. All right, this is where it's gonna get a little bit fun. Hold on, we're gonna switch out of this dealy job here. Hopefully, be able to find what it is that we are looking for. Stand by. So we're going to go to, there it is. All right, this is where it gets fun, guys. I'm going to show you this real quick just so that you can see the overall picture. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. This is Private Pilot Training 101. This is the whole thing. We're going to focus on a couple different parts as we're going through, and I'll come back to this a couple times, but for right now, what we're going to do is talk about these eligibility requirements right here, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is that you have to do in order to get your license. You have to meet a couple requirements. As you're going through your training, you will eventually check these boxes. Some of these are just check boxes as you go through your training. It could take you a couple months. It could take you a year or so to actually check all those boxes and get all this stuff taken care of. And so let me get here. You're going to start off here. You've got to be at least 17 years of age. So you got to be 17 years old before the FAA gives you your license. Okay? You can be 14, 15, 16 years old and flying, logging time, and taking care of all the other things here, but until you're 17, the FAA is not going to sign you off and give you your license. All right? So you got to be able to read, write, speak, understand English language. If you guys have trouble with that, I recommend getting some additional training in that, and then start going back at this. English is the standard across the country, or not just the country, but the world. Thanks to World War II, we were able to standardize everything as English across the entire world. So be able to read, write, speak, and understand English. All right, I'm going to pop up here. You got to get logbook endorsements for ground aeronautical knowledge topics. I'm going to tell you about that here in just a minute. And once you get that ground aeronautical knowledge out of the way, you can do that with a ground school, a home study course. Once you do that, and this is at least 25% of all of flight training, is this stupid written test right here. And it's basically a rites of passage. This little thing right here is going to take up probably possibly 3 or 4 months worth of your training. But you have to pass that laser grade written test. You got to get a 70% or more in order to move on and get to what we call the practical test, which is also known as a check ride. So as you're going through, getting your flight requirements, getting your flights underway, and meeting your aeronautical experience, once you're done doing all of this stuff, you eventually get here to your check ride. Oops, I kind of messed up my arrow, but eventually you get here and you take your check ride. You go out with an FAA designated examiner, and you do an oral portion and you do a flight portion. Okay, so once you finish that, you get done, you got your private pilot. This is a process that could take, it's all self-based. It could take a few months. It could take a year. Hang on one quick second. Okay, I'm back. So that's how that works. What we're going to do now is just jump real quick back into here. Stand by. All right. We're going to talk about medical requirements. We talked about, I'm going to breeze through this real quick, but this is a big deal when it comes to the eligibility requirements. So I need to cover this stuff because if you are disqualified by any of what I'm about to tell you, you probably don't need to hang out for the rest of this, or you just can't. It will disqualify you from flying or doing any of this. So what you need to know is that your eyeballs, if you go in to get your flight exam done from a medical examiner, you need to have at least 20/40 vision or be correctable to 20/40 vision. Okay, you have to be able to pass a colorblind test. If you guys can't see, you see everything in black and white, basically you can't fly. A lot of this comes down to safety. It comes down to being able to get in the aircraft and perform your duties safely, or for yourself and for the people on the ground. Or if you have some kind of a pathological condition of your eyes, some kind of a disease in the eye that's going to, that's going to interfere with you flying the aircraft. That's bad. All right, ears, nose, throat. You can't have any serious hearing impairments. So we're talking about third-class medical certificate. It's really not that hard to get in the big scheme of things, but there are a few disqualifiers that were hidden on here. No disease of the inner ear, nothing crazy that's going to cause you. If you find yourself saying, huh? If you find yourself doing that a lot, that's okay. Go in, get yourself checked out, and see if they'll let you get this. All right, mental stuff fits into the medical requirements. So you can't have any history, you can't have any current diagnosis of any of these disorders, psychosis, bipolar, any of this stuff. If you guys are on drugs, or if you drink a lot of alcohol and then think that you can go out and fly, don't think that that's how things are done. If you have a documented history of substance abuse and you've been going to Alcoholics Anonymous, no offense if you have been, you probably won't get up in the sky and start flying anytime soon. So just know that moving forward. Also, the flight surgeon basically has the last say. All of this is not in stone. I mean, it is if you look up the flight aviation regulations, but if you go in there and the doc finds some other reason that you shouldn't be flying, then you could be disqualified as well. Same with neurological. If you have epilepsy, if for some reason you just black out, you have seizures, something else goes wrong with you while you're flying, that could be really bad for you and the people on the ground. Cardiovascular, we're talking disqualifiers. If you have myocardial infarction or angina pectoris, if you actually know what these are and you're not a doctor, there's a good chance that you probably shouldn't be flying. But I didn't realize this until the other day. I was actually looking through here. If you have a pacemaker, if you've ever had a heart transplant or cardiac valve replacement, you also are disqualified from a third-class flight medical certificate. This is the easiest one to get, by the way. So if you have any of these issues or a history of heart problems, that could cause you some issues with your medical requirements. The coverall is general medical condition. If there's any other reason that's going to keep you unsafe in the aircraft, to yourself, to your passengers, to the people on the ground, then you could be disqualified and you may not be able to get a medical certificate. I'm not saying all of this to scare you guys. I don't want to scare you guys. That's not my intention by any means. So what I really want you guys to know is just what you're up against. If you guys are over the age of 40, you guys could run into some issues. If you're under the age of 40, you might run into the same issues. But let's move on from there. So pilot progression. What do I have to do to get my license? Where do I go from here? I see where we're going from here. We're going to pop right back into this one here. All right, like I said earlier, guys, this is it. And we've got the entire thing laid out right here. This is the process of getting the pilot license. You have to get aeronautical experience, so you got to go get some flight time. We're going to lay that out right here. You're looking at needing 40 hours total of flight time. 20 of that 40 hours has to be dual, which means you're with an instructor. You've got to do cross-country time. You got to do your solo time. So you got to get up. Once you do your solo, you'll get up there and fly on your own for about 10 more hours, and possibly a few more. You've got to do a cross-country solo trip. Cross-country trip, it has to be, one of the legs has to be over 100 nautical miles. You got to do some instrument training. Here, let me just point this stuff out. Hood means instruments, which means you're basically staring at the instrument panel. You got to get out there and do 3 hours of nighttime flowing. I already talked about your solo time, your cross-country time, 3 hours cross-country. All this stuff gets logged into a logbook so that you guys can see exactly what's going on. And when you get done, you take that logbook to your flight examiner to get your pilot certificate. You get all those. We talked about them earlier. The endorsements that we were talking about earlier, which are up here. We were talking about all these logbook endorsements. They come from getting all of this material down here. Now, we got this. We also have the aeronautical knowledge up here, and this is what we're talking about with that written test. This is where you do a home study course, or you sit down with your flight instructor. Those are the two methods in which you get this information. This is where you're going to get that knowledge. And if you decide to sit down with an instructor, you will spend about $2,000 to $3,000 going through this material. And I'm talking about everything here. Make sure that I get that covered. This is about 25 to 30% of all of your flight training. So you do all this on the ground. We're talking about, just decision making. This is academics. We're talking about aerodynamics, power plant systems. You go up in the air and do some spin awareness. But you train on this stuff on the ground. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Regulations, advisories, applicable FAA regulations. Just talked about that. How to use the aeronautical charts. How to talk on the radio. This is important stuff that you guys you have to learn it on the ground, and we'll get into that a little bit more here coming up. And that's what we do with the Mile High Flight Academy. We basically focus on this section right here. Now let's look at the progression. We've pretty much already talked about this one here. The flight proficiency. Now when you guys are flying, you are going through. When you're flying, when you're actually up in the air with a flight instructor, this is the stuff that you're going to do. This is the stuff that you're going to practice. So let me zoom in a little bit closer so you can see this here. Okay, you're going to be going up in the sky. This is where you're going to start taking off with the instructor. You're going to start off a little bit slower, and then as you progress through your training, the instructor is going to start handing the controls off to you. You're going to start flying. You're going to start off with takeoffs, and then you're going to start doing traffic patterns, which is where you fly the square around the airfield and then make a landing. You make an approach, and then you start your landings. Now you're going to do some of your ground reference maneuvers, which is this stuff over here. You're going to start practicing rectangular courses, S-turns around a point, turns around a point. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to wonder about when you go out flying and you're going to start flying around Farmer Joe's field and wonder why. It's not going to make a ton of sense until you get out there and start doing it. Now, you'll talk about it on the ground, of course, but until you get up there and start doing it, that's when you put all this stuff to practical purpose. So we do all the navigation training on the ground, but once you get up in the sky, you put it to practical purposes. So we're going to be talking about digital ways of doing your navigation, how to plan and navigate using the paper maps, how to do a TDH card or a time distance heading card. That's a card that basically gives you the time from one point to the next, how long it is between one point and the next, the heading from one place to the next, pilotage. That's being able to navigate from one place to another by looking at ground reference things. Like I used to fly up in Michigan, you can do pilotage by looking, okay, there's the Silverdome, Pontiac Silverdome. Okay, now there's another something in the ground that sticks up or something, and you can see exactly what it is. There's a body of water. There's a big piece of flat land. There's another big lake over here. There's a big city. That's pilotage. Dead reckoning is when you're using that time distance heading card. So I just want to breeze through this stuff so that you guys know exactly what it is that you're going to start practicing. Emergencies are huge. As you're going through your flight training, you're going to practice this stuff here. Inadvertent IMC is when you accidentally fly into the clouds. Engine failures, fire, smoke in flight. I don't say this to scare you guys, but this is the kind of things that really happen when you're in the sky, when you're going through this stuff. You could get stuck in an emergency situation, and the mark of a true pilot that knows what they're doing and is really awesome, a real Chuck Yeager, will be able to react calmly in that situation. When stuff goes wrong, they're able to continue flying that aircraft and navigate and communicate as necessary. Going through the night operations, post-flight operations, This stuff is done in the sky, obviously. So, guys, all of this stuff, you can see it all here. If you want, I'll try and get you guys a copy of this PDF on Digits probably after the call. So there is a lot going on, and I just want to back out of this so that you guys can see exactly, once again, what we're looking at here. And like I said, the biggest piece that I can do, what I focus on with the Mile High Flight Academy is this right here. So this is almost 25% of your flight training. The other part is this right here is your flight stuff. This is your ground stuff up here. So ground, flight, and then this is just just saying, hey, this is your checklist basically. With as you go through this ground stuff, the flight stuff, then you get that. And so, all right, and then of course you also get all this as you're going through the flight portion. So that's flight training in and of itself. I mean, half of it almost, if you look at this, is ground-based. So let's go back to our thing. I'm going to show you exactly what the linear timeline would look like on this. All right, so you got your linear timeline. You're going to start out by going out to an airport probably and getting a discovery flight. It costs you $100 or something. Find out if you even like flying. Some people don't like flying, and they spend thousands of dollars to figure that out. So ground school. If you go out and fly, you love it, find a ground school. You can find a school. You can find a home study course. That's what we offer here at the Mile High Flight Academy. Stick around. I'm going to show you how you can get a copy of ours later. It could cost you, depending on the course that you get, it's $500. I'll show you. Mine's actually less than that. But once you get that ground school off the list, you get a written. You can do the written exam. It's $150 once you go do that. Once you get that off the list, you go get your medical exam, find out if you should even continue. At this point, you have minimal flight hours. You probably haven't soloed yet, and you don't have a ton of money into this, but you know probably with it beyond the shadow of a doubt whether you should even be flying or not. You know whether you like this stuff. So you're looking at maybe $100 to get your medical exam, unless you just happen to know a flight examiner, a flight medical examiner who will hook you up, but not everybody does. So after that, you're looking at your pre-solo work. This is everything that you do prior to that 15-hour mark where most people, on average, go up and solo the aircraft. It's looking at about $2,000. This is where you're going to start putting down the big bucks to go flying. You're either going to put it on a credit card or you're going to pay it off in cash. I like the debt-free method. When I went through my flight training back in the day, 12, 13 years ago, I decided that I was going to do it and not go into debt for doing that. So I was able to save that up by working for it and then putting it all on credit and then at an FBO and said, here's 10 grand, and then I just went and flew. They just signed me off afterwards. All right, continuing that timeline. At this point, once you get your solo done, maybe you're thinking about getting your own headset, some aviation supplies. You're looking at about another $500 there. Now you're going to go to your post solo dual time. Maybe about $5,000 there to get some more flight time. This is where you're working to get that 40 to 50 hours worth of flight time so that you can take your check ride. Keep in mind, the average pilot gets to about 60, 65, 70 hours before they take their check ride, before they're even ready for their check ride. So 40 hours is the absolute minimum that you can do. So just keep in mind that you got to get at least that, but most people get 60 or 70. So if you're right at 40 and they're not, your instructor's not putting you up for your check ride, take a good look at yourself and know that you've got some other, maybe you've got some other stuff to work on. From there, your check ride, about 250, possibly as high as $400 to get your check ride taken. At this point, that's your linear plan right there. At this point, you could have spent up to $11,600 if you go through it quickly. All right. If you don't go through it quickly, if you're slow, not that you're slow or anything, but if you just happen to not fly a nominal amount of time per month, you're going to lose the skill. So get back in there, fly as much as you can, so that you're not paying the higher amount of money, because it could easily, especially nowadays, cost you anywhere around $16,600 or more dollars, depending on the type of aircraft that you're flying. So on that note, I would like to hook you guys up with a course that we created. It's called How to Prepare for and Ace Your Next Check Ride. This is a 90-minute audio course that we created. for anybody that's getting ready for an eval flight, whether it's a check ride, a BFR, that's biannual flight review, or just going up for a stage check. This will get you prepared, get you mentally prepared and in that mindset to take that check ride, starting with a week out, 2 days out, what you should be doing at each stage while you go through that. That course is also inside of the Mile High Flight Academy. And I didn't even get that up tonight. Hopefully I'll get that up and ready for you so I can show you around. All right. Oops, I didn't even do that. So put your name in if you haven't already. I'm going to take 2 people and give you guys how to prepare for and ace your next check ride. I'm going to give you guys a coupon code to get a hold of that. Again, I got Ron hanging out, taking names. So put your name in there, and we're going to get you guys a copy of that. I'm going to take a quick moment here. Don't go anywhere, or we're going to get you guys taken care of.
Okay, Riley, I got you. We also got James from the live Google feed. I'll get these over to Matt. Okay, Matt, got you too.
Okay, guys, let's move on and let's get this going. We're going to talk a little bit about your aeronautical knowledge. Here's the deal, guys. You wouldn't cut somebody up with a scalpel unless you studied the academics first. You're not going to go out there and do that. You wouldn't cross-examine the witness unless you passed the state bar. You wouldn't try speaking Arabic to a guy in Iraq unless you went to school to learn Arabic first. You wouldn't try boating to Europe unless you went to the captain course and got some experience first, right? So same thing with flying. If you guys didn't get that academic stuff first, you're not going to go fly an airplane on your own. You're not going to go fly commercially before learning the basics and getting that groundwork taken care of. Nobody is going to hire you, and the FAA will not give you your flight certificate. Excuse me, the FAA is not going to give you your flight certificate unless you're able to prove to your CFI, your flight instructor, that you can get a 70% or more, so your instructor is going to be looking for you to get 80 or 90% on the practice exams, and then go from those practice exams to, go in and take that $150 laser grade written test. They want to see that you can pass that laser grade written test because you're going to take that test results. That's going to print out a piece of paper that you have to take to your check ride examiner the day that you do your check ride. Okay, so that's how that's going to roll down. Now that's how you get your pilot certificate. That's the process that you're going to go through when you get your pilot certificate. Okay, so let's talk. If you guys follow this system, the one that I just laid out to you guys, and you guys get the education using the syllabus that I just laid out for you, you guys are going to get the most economic return for your investment if you go through there and do it exactly as I just laid out. Now, I don't believe that flying is for everyone, but I too, like yourself, started this journey with a dream. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and thought to myself, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to go flying, and then see how it turns out and spend a bunch of money. Okay? If you guys have that same dream, then you should pursue it. I want you to pursue it. It's an amazing feeling for anybody, whether myself or you, to get out there and fly. Okay? So whether you guys want to be a commercial pilot, or you want to grab a $100 hamburger with your wife and kids on the weekend, you can and you should. You guys can get started right away. And let me tell you, and Ron told me this right before we started tonight. He said, you know what the coolest part about being a pilot would be? I said, what's that, Ron? He said, just being able to tell people that you're a pilot. I got a kick out of that because, people do love to say it. It's a great accomplishment. It's a challenge. It's an amazing challenge for one to be able to put yourself through that rigorous training process and get your certificates. Now, please remember, nothing I've shared with you guys here today is theory. This is exactly what I've done for the past 12 years to turn a simple pilot certificate that I got when I was like 23 years old into a lifelong career path. I fly for the Army now. I've flown combat time, been in Iraq and Afghanistan, Kuwait, flown all over the United States in helicopters, rotary wing, and in fixed wing as well. So You have to start somewhere. Once you guys get that first rating, then it's game on. There's a saying in the industry that says, once you get your private pilot license, you have a license to learn. So use that to your advantage, all right? And that's what I do now. I've taught hundreds of students how to get started, taught them how to land, taught them what steps to take next, even taught students how to track into the military and become a warrant officer or a lieutenant and get in there and use that as a career path. It really doesn't matter if you've never been in an airplane, if you're afraid of heights, I am, or don't have a clue of how to get started. The secret is to take baby steps. Just take action. Just start taking those steps that I showed you. Start with a discovery flight, take a ground school, and then get the headset. Just start taking little actions towards the thing. And this is a marathon. It's not like you're going to get your pilot license tomorrow because you decided today that you're going to do it. This is a challenge. This is a marathon challenge. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you guys what's really cool about this is being able to take your family out flying, where you can take them to a restaurant. You can do the $100 hamburger thing. It's about not having to deal with TSA. That's one of my favorite things because I get really upset when I go to fly commercially and have to fly with TSA. So if I have the ability, I will go rent an airplane or fly with a friend, and I will fly somewhere. You just walk into the FBO. Hey, how's it going, guys? You grab your airplane keys because you scheduled it out ahead of time, and then you go fly. It's an amazing feeling. It's about not getting stuck in traffic because you're flying over the top of them instead of laughing at them. That's a good feeling. It's about helping others to enjoy that same dream that you have by taking them up flying. Nothing feels really quite as good as just taking even a complete stranger up in the aircraft and making their day because they got to go flying. Ultimately, this is about you being free. This is about your personal freedom. Okay? It's about being free as a bird. That's one thing that's really driven me over the years because once you complete this challenge, it really is about that freedom. This is all possible with our online flight academy, the Mile High Flight Academy. I told you guys a little bit about that earlier. So let me ask you this right now. Who thinks that they could walk away from this training today and get started? Who thinks that they could make that happen for themselves? Who thinks that they could be that guy that cranks the engine and flies their family to their next vacation spot and well, probably not Fiji because that's really far away, but somewhere in the States, That's a really good feeling to be able to fly somewhere and take your family with you and tell people that. Trust me, I've enjoyed that immensely over my career. So here's the deal. I'm not sure why you guys showed up today. It could be that you're frustrated that the process that I just laid out for you guys makes no sense at all. Hopefully it makes a little more sense now that I've laid that out for you. It could be that you're skeptical about getting your license. Let me tell you this. Once you guys get your license, it doesn't go away. Your certificate is your certificate. You keep it forever and as long as you maintain a valid medical certificate. You guys can utilize its privileges. My father-in-law, he hasn't flown for over 30 years, but he still has his certificate. And he keeps it up to date with the FAA because it symbolizes his professionalism, his excellence, and it keeps those memories alive from when he did fly with his family, his kids, his daughters, my wife. So, or maybe you're like I was, you've just started some of your training, you need to tighten up your ship a little bit more and just need some guidance so that you know where you're headed next. You remember when I said I started out and I flew $2,000 worth of flight time off and really had no idea what direction I was going in. That's what I really did tonight, was saved you $2,000 so that you can, fly straight. Fly straight as an arrow and know what you're going to do next. Trying to clarify this and allow you to gain some clarity. Maybe you're just bored. You guys wanted to come hang out with me. That's cool too. I'm really glad either way that you guys came to hang out with me and be social. So if there's one thing to take away, it's that ground training is a must. It's 25, as I showed you on the map there, or the PDF doc is probably 35% at least of your flight training. So it's a must. It's postage. You have to get it from somewhere. And if you think that your instructor has time to sit around on the ground training and explaining all of this stuff to you guys, then you're wrong. Here's what your instructor really wants to be doing. He wants to be flying. He wants to be up in the sky, building up his flight hours so that he can get his next commercial gig. He wants to fly and build time so that he can go get a job with commercial airlines on your dime. Okay? When you're flying and paying them money, he's not. But guess what? He's still logging all of that time, and he's doing it on your time. So, just be aware of that as you're going through your training. Remember, $500 is postage in this industry. It gets you from where you are now to where you want to be, and that's in the cockpit with your written laser grade exam behind you. The training that we have online is built to ensure your success every step of the way. We've got quizzes, we have training webinars, we have Q&As, we have handouts, we have video training, and you can finish the course on your own time schedule. I'm going to show you here in just a second what it looks like on the inside of this Ground School Academy, and then I'm going to show you how you guys can save a significant amount of money by joining up tonight. So be it 30 days, be it 6 months, the price isn't going to change, okay? This is a one-time fee that we charge for our academy, and it's not any of the numbers that have been thrown out. So the obvious question is, how can I use a course like this to finish my ground training requirements? It's very simple. We laid it out for you in a step-by-step manner. I heard the simile, I guess. It's kind of like navigating a minefield. You can try to get to the other end blindly through trial and error, which is the long, hard way, or keep it simple. You can just buy the map, right? All you have to do is follow the steps to get from where you are now to where you need to be. Like I said, it's postage. You have to do it. The FAA will not give you the opportunity to take your check ride until you've gotten that written test out of the way. You've gotten that training. That knowledge it's not like you just have to rote memorize all of this stuff and then go out and take it. This stuff is being used so that you can be a better decision maker, so that you can be a better, what's the word? I'm trying to think of what it's called. Troubleshooter. So if something goes wrong in the aircraft and you're like, oh crap, what do I do? It helps to know a little bit of something about the aircraft so that you can troubleshoot the problem, so that that helps you with your confidence. It also helps you with your decision-making problem so that you can figure the problem out before you hit the ground, right? So we're going to give you everything that you need. It makes life a lot easier. We're all doing a bunch of crap in life, so why have to figure something else out too? So who thinks at this point that they can get started with their pilot training now? You guys can be social. You can enter it in the box, or you don't have to if you don't want to. Just answer it to yourself if you really want to. But here's how to get started. With the Mile High Flight Academy. I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough here in just a second. But actually, I'm going to do it right now. You know what? You guys deserve a quick walkthrough. Hang on one second. Hopefully all those red lines weren't sitting on you guys' side that whole time. Let me get rid of that and then pop up here. I'm going to go to the Mile High Flight Academy. Hopefully it comes up. Give me a second, guys. There it is. So it logged me straight in. So we're going to talk about, this is what it looks like after you guys get access, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to get access for a really good price tonight. I've given you guys a lot of freebies already, and I'm not done yet. So I'm going to give you guys some if you guys stick around here for a few more minutes. Once you get inside, we're always adding to this. So like I said, it's not a membership fee. It's not like you have to pay $150 a month to gain access to what we have here. You get in, and this is yours. This is yours to keep. You always have access to it, unless you ask me for a refund. We might take it away. But you got your pre-flight training videos. So this is how it works. You're going to get in. You're going to decide what it is that you want training with, and then you're going to go in here. You got downloads available. The pre-flight training doesn't have that much in it, but we're going to put a lot of videos in here for all the different types of training. We have guest instructors that show you guys exactly how this works. Aviation weather, meteorology. This is a pretty big course that we've recently created. You go in here, and there's all kinds of questions, videos, training, everything that you guys need. Again, the handouts, everything that you guys need to know here about weather. I'm not going to hit every single one of these. You guys get the point, what it looks like, right? One of the big ones, people really love Landings Made Easy. This is one that we've sold on its own a few times. But if you come in here, we've got lessons on how to land your aircraft in all the different scenarios. If you go to the normal approach and landing one, you go in here. I think just this particular module has about 5 or 6 different videos in here showing you what to do in every phase. So this is what it looks like, guys. I mean, if you got, and there's currently over 12 modules. Plus the bonus modules. We have the flight planning bonus pack, which just has basically a bunch of downloads in it. We were selling this for $50 at one point, and a lot of people picked up that. So let's go back here. Check ride. This is where you're going to get access to this. In-flight emergencies, maps, charts, airspace review. Basically everything that you need is here. So let's do one more thing for you. I'm going to go back to, if I can figure out where I was. All right. So that's the Mile High Flight Academy. That's what it looks like on the inside. That's what you guys are going to get. All that is the information that you need to know, so that you can pass your written test, so that you can go down to the FSDO. I'm not even sure what that stands for, but you're going to go down to the FSDO, and you're going to do. That's where you do all your flight training tests. And most flight schools offer the ability to take those laser grade written test exams. So that's what we're doing, and we're getting you ready for that. We're getting you ready to go out to the cockpit and get you ready to fly in the aircraft, so that you know exactly what needs to be done. So I want you to take a minute. You can close your eyes if you want. You can just chill. Keep your eyes open if you want to read this. Some people are visual people. Some people aren't as much. Most pilots are. That's why we love to fly, because you get to see the wide open world of aviation. So imagine being able to fly with confidence, being able to hold your chest back, hold your head high or your chin high, and have that fly with the utmost confidence, knowing that you know what to do when crap hits the fan. That you'll be able to get in the cockpit a little bit faster and not get confused with the process. You'll be able to fly with your family and do things with them. You'll be able to bypass TSA because you're flying yourself. And most of all, you're free. This is your personal freedom moment. That's what this is, guys. That's what this is about. All right. All you have to do is follow these simple steps, dudes. I gave you the map. Here's what I'm gonna force you guys to master during this rigorous training. This is actually where I was going to do the walkthrough and completely bypass that one. But I'm going to take you through all that courseware basically. So here is the cost. This is what we're talking about. How much it's all going to be. You could hire a private instructor, or just get your ground training done one-on-one with an instructor by paying for that guy or girl at $60 to $100 an hour. It's kind of ridiculous. I did a lot of this. It's going to rack up your bill to over $2,000 by the time you finish it up. But what they're doing, when you're in the sky, they're charging you. When you're on the ground, they're charging you. So if you're talking to them, keep in mind, some of them will give you the benefit of the doubt, and they'll just, not charge you one-to-one. But a lot of them will sit there on the ground as you sit there and ask them questions. They'll ask you, or they'll be sitting there, they'll have the clock running, they're charging you. So keep an eye out for that kind of thing. So you could get charged a lot of money. I know some instructors even that charge over $150 an hour. So real question, how much is this going to cost me being you? Not $2,000. I'm not going to charge that. I'm not even charging $1,000 for the Mile High ground school. Now, what I should have done is charge at least $600 for it. If you go to the site right now, it actually is $600. But because you're here on this webinar with us tonight, this training course, I'm going to give you guys a deal here in just a second. At the online academy, I'm not even going to charge that much. The entire system, plus the bonuses that I just laid out for you guys, is $377, which is a pretty daggum good deal. That also includes, some of the training webinars that we conduct on a timely basis a couple times a month as well. So I've also got payment plan options to make your choice a little bit simpler if that's the way that you decide to go. Just 3 payments of $133, if that's the way that you want to go. That's how you guys are going to get your training started tonight. So in a moment, I'm going to give you the link. First, my insane guarantee. I don't want unhappy money. I don't want you guys to be unhappy. If this isn't the best ground training that you can get, then email my support guys at support@posthousestudios.com. I'm going to give you my phone number in a minute as well, so that you guys can call me if you have additional questions. We're also going to do some Q&A, so hopefully you guys, I'm going to go hang out with Ron here in a second, and we're going to get some Q&A underway. We're coming up on that hour mark, so I want to be true to my word, respect you guys' time for those of you that can't stick around. Just like all of my courses, I don't want you to ironclad 60-day money-back guarantee. If you'd like to call and ask me something personally, or just find out if I answer the phone and see if I'm a nice guy, then call me at this number. It's 269-350-3327. Don't call me right now because I'm not going to answer, but I'm going to turn that on. Call me during business hours, and I'll probably answer it and can help you guys with any questions that you have. If I'm busy, obviously, I probably won't pick it up. But leave me a message. I'll get back with you. So I'm going to keep I just said that. I'm going to keep the lines open over the next few days. You can call in and ask questions. Quick recap. Here's what you guys are going to get. Currently, over 12 full training modules, how to prepare for and ace your next check ride, landings with a flare, the bonus audio course, all the handouts, the PDFs, the Q&As, the flashcards. You guys are going to get lifetime access for $377 with the money back guarantee. Here's the link, guys. It's HTTP. Go to milehighflightacademy.com/deal if you guys want to get started tonight. You guys can do that. I'm only going to leave this on the table for about the next 3 or 4 days. So get this deal while it's available. Otherwise, it will cost you a little bit more money, and you guys may not get as close of attention. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. Actually, you know what? Before I go hang out with Ron, get some questions answered with you guys. Does anybody want $200? I'm going to assume that you guys are answering yes as we speak, that you would like $200. I'm going to give you guys $200 to pick up this course. When you go there, when you go to that link, the deal link that I just put out, I'm going to put it up here in a second. There it is again. When you go there, it's going to ask you to pay $600, a one-time fee for this. But here's the deal. If you guys go there, I'm going to give you this coupon code. It's 200. Write that down. 200. I'm not emailing it out, so I need you to write it down. Grab a pen and paper and write down this coupon code. That is a coupon code. When you go there to pick up this course, type in on the left side when you start up your account. It's going to ask you for a coupon code. Type that in to redeem that within the next 4 days, and you will get $200 off of that price. That's what's going to bring it down to $377. Okay. If you guys take the 3-pay option, it'll just pay out, or it'll just charge out what it charges out. So that's my deal. Let me go hang out with Ron. You guys think about your questions. We're going to go answer some questions real quick and talk to you guys some more. Okay, so here's that link. I will be right back with you guys.
All right, guys. I got Matt here with me. We are going to answer some questions. We've got the Google feed going on here, so we've got a couple questions from the Google feed. So, Matt, there's one that I wrote down earlier. How long does it take to complete the course?
All right, guys. Hopefully, here, let me pull up the chair next to you, Ron. We had some tech issues on my other microphone, so I'm going to hang out with you guys out here in the other room. Here's the deal. The amount of time that it takes to actually finish this course is going to be really up to you. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. Bottom line, once you get access to the course, you can go through it. We're always adding more into it, so you guys are going to get lifetime access to this for the one-time fee. So it's not like monthly fees, like $150, and then you guys are like, oh crap, how much money am I going to spend? I know there's a lot of stuff out there like that. Not that there's anything wrong with them. There's a lot of good stuff, but that's what you guys are gonna get. It should take you about 3 months to finish the course, though. So
okay, here's one. I keep hearing rumors about a huge airline pilot shortage coming up in the next 5 years or so. What do you know about this?
Honestly, guys, I don't know a ton about that, but what I can tell you from experience is that there's a lot of baby boomer pilots that are out there that are retiring. There's a lot of pilots that are retiring and moving on. So there is a lot of truth to that. So what they're looking at doing is just hiring from the bottom end up. So one industry that you guys might want to look into if you guys are looking to go commercial is the private jet industry. If you think about it, since 2011, people are just not as interested in flying commercially, especially since TSA came around. No offense to anybody that's TSA here, but people want to fly private charter. So if you think that's a great way to go as well, it is. So hopefully that answered your question.
Okay, here we go. If and when I get my private pilot certificate, can I fly something like a Cessna 337, or do I have to go through everything to get to the multi-engine?
You would have to go through the multi-engine stuff. You'd have to go. Actually, let me take that back. You actually wouldn't have to go through your commercial or instruments. If you could hold a private pilot license with a multi-engine endorsement. So if you wanted to do a private pilot license or a private pilot certificate and then just go straight into a multi-engine, you could. Although if you're going to do that and spend the money, you'd be better off just going through your instrument commercial training, or at least your instrument training as well. Is there a follow-on to that?
Yeah, there's another question. Do you know of any scholarships or grants to help pay for flight training? I know the military pays for your flight training if you can get there.
Yeah, if you can get into the military and do their flight training, they'll hook you up. That's what they'll do. I got $100,000 worth of flight training out of them for out of like maybe basically a year and a half of my life. I did the fast track. Honestly, I don't know if there is a ton of scholarships or grants out there. I guess we just have to Google that stuff. I'll definitely put it on my list of stuff to do and send it out to our list if I find some good stuff out there. Definitely, if you can find a way to get it paid for, that doesn't have money coming out of your pocket, it's all that much better. What else you got, Mick?
Okay, I work at nights. Are there certain times I must be online to access training?
Okay, so
I think he's asking if he has to attend like a live class or something that he has to be there at a specific time.
Okay. Occasionally we do have live classes. However, you don't have to be live. You don't have to be present at any one of our classes. So if you decide that it's something that you want to do, if it's something that you need to do, you've got to be live. If we're doing a live event and you want to ask questions and have it answered in a live manner similar to this, then yeah, try and show up to the class. If we put something out there, it's for your own good. So we would ask you to show up. But everything most of the stuff, I should say, gets recorded and added into the training portal where I just showed you guys online there. So if you miss it, it's not the end of the world. Plus, most of us are available. The guys on my team, if I'm not available, will be available to answer questions for you. We also have access to a private training group on Facebook. So when you do become a member, we'll give you the link to a private group on Facebook where a lot of your peers will be as well, and you can get questions answered there. Hope that answered the question.
Okay, and then what about DVDs? Can I buy a DVD set?
DVDs? Who does DVDs anymore?
I don't know.
No, seriously, DVDs cause a lot of problems. I mean, we all like DVDs. We all like to have that physical product that we can hold in our hands and put on the shelf, but that's normally exactly what happens. It normally ends up on a shelf somewhere. Honestly, every time a DVD is made, we're going to add another course. Guess what we have to do now? Now we're going to burn more DVDs or have more replicated. So we stopped making DVDs. We offer everything online. Everything is digital. So if you guys do go through with a course, then you'll have instant access. You don't have to wait around the mailbox waiting for something to go down. You guys will just automatically have access to the course. Hopefully that. So the answer to that question, by the way, was no. We don't have DVDs. Sorry.
All right, guys. Last chance to ask some questions. We'll hang out here just a little bit. There's a bit of a delay, so we'll give you a chance to ask last-minute questions before we close this out.
Yeah, I was really surprised with the delay going on. One thing I wanted while we're waiting for a few more questions, just keep me apprised. I get on my tangent.
I just got another question.
Oh, did you? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. I read an article that the Air Force raised their entrance age to 39. I'll be 33 in May. Say I finish my degree in flight training before then, realistically. What are the odds that I can join and fly for them?
It's a good question. If you are able to, and to be honest, I mean, I'm familiar with the Army's way of doing things, and I know that the Air Force is a lot more strict with what they do. So if they did, because I know that I've tried to get into the Air Force and fly, and they told me that I was, I tried to switch from the Army to the Air Force. They told me I was too old. That by the time I got my degree, I would have been too old. So, but the age must have been like 29 or 30. So I'd be really surprised if the Air Force raised their age limit to 39, I think you said it was?
39.
39's, I don't want to say old because I'm almost there, but it's probably kind of high for them. I mean, if you can get in, if that's true, and you can go and be 39 years old without a waiver, if you need a waiver, you're probably screwed. And I'll say it that way kindly, because the Army is not exact, or the Air Force probably isn't really hurting for younger pilots. So you may have an option. There may be something for you there. I mean, if you need to get a head start on your training, we can offer that with the Mile High Flight Academy. It's the same stuff. A plane flies the way a plane flies. Aerodynamics is aerodynamics. The formula for lift doesn't change from the civilian to the Air Force or the Army. So, to be honest, I wish that I could answer your question a little bit better than that, but that's probably the best that I can do. If you can finish it up by the time you're 35, 36 years old, that'll give you time to get into the Air Force, have them assess you, and take you into the Air Force. So.
And I have to tell you, I'm a veteran, so I would call the recruiter, Air Force recruiter, ask them about that question, and don't go in there if they tell you we can make you a pilot, but first you have to be a flight line refueler guy. So just ask honestly, if you have your degree, what the age cutoff is.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, if you can get in with with a recruiter, like one that's not trying to screw you and just try and, I mean, nothing against recruiters, but most of them are out for themselves. They're up against quotas, so they're a sales game as well. So, did you have anything else coming up?
Nope, I think that's it. We'll leave it open for a few more minutes. We're going to go ahead and mute this mic so Matt can blow his nose, and then if there's any more questions, we'll come back. We'll hang in there for the next couple of minutes. Thanks for showing up, guys.
All right, guys, I wanted to tell you about one more thing, and I've already told you about it a couple times. The guarantee. A lot of people normally come back to me with questions, and they're asking, what if I get this and I don't like it, or a lot of people are skeptics. I mean, the internet has been around for a while. People are getting more comfortable with putting their internet stuff or putting their name and email address into, or their credit card info into the internet, but a lot of people still aren't. But I just want you to know that if you do, and you go through with the process of becoming, a Mile High member tonight, then, you're backed 100%. If you don't like the course, you don't like the way that I sound, you don't like the backdrop in one of my videos or something, what I do ask you, if you do get into it, don't look through it for 10 minutes and then ask me for a refund. I don't really find that to be, the wisest use of this. You have 60 full days to go through it and get the best use out of it. Plus, it's lifetime access. We're always adding to it. That's your best use for this course. So if you guys are looking to get started and move forward with this training, then make sure that you do it ethically, morally, and that you get the best training and best bang for the buck. So, I don't know what I was going to tell you. The phone number. Hopefully you copied down my number. It's 269-350-3327. We're going to write that into the box there. So if you guys do have questions, if you don't like the online environment, you want to call in an order or ask a question before making your final go-ahead, and you don't want it to be public, then go ahead and give me a shout. Like I said, I'm on the call on this right now, so I'm probably not going to answer the phone. But starting after this thing's done, or possibly even into tomorrow, I'll be taking those and getting the questions answered and whatnot. So, do you have any other questions coming up, Aaron?
Nope, that's all we got.
We're coming up dead.
We're going to wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for coming out to the webinar tonight. I really appreciate everything that you guys brought to the table tonight. For all of you guys that rose your hand and have won something from us, I will get you guys the coupon codes for those courses as well. And there's the link for you, www.milehighflightacademy.com/deal. Double-checked everything on that before we went live, and it was working. And we have another question?
Yes, one more question. Can we get a copy of this webinar, or can we review the webinar? Is there a replay?
There'll probably be a replay, but it probably won't be out until, shoot, I don't know. I was like, I didn't record the webinar, but I think it will be available actually because we're on Google Hangouts, and Google Hangouts will allow it to be live.
Yeah.
So we should be able to set you guys up with a replay. Well, hopefully that answers that question.
Yes. All right. Last chance, guys, before we close her out.
This is it. We're going partying after this. We look forward to having you guys in the academy. You guys are going to get a lot of private attention, personal attention. So we'll take care of you, answer all the questions that you have.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Take care, guys.